Alright, in this video, I'm going to model how I like my students to count large collections. Now, first of all, it's important we give students opportunities to count large collections, especially when there's more than 10 tens and more than 10 ones, so that they're going to be forced to do some regrouping because they need practice doing that to really emphasize the place value structure and really getting them to actually use that place value structure for themselves to help them solve tasks instead of taking it for granted that everything's always given to them in the right amount of tens and ones. So this is how I would want my students to count a collection like this. Before I show you how I want them to count it though, I want to point out what I don't want to see. And that is, I don't want my students to be stuck in counting large collections by always counting in the decades. For example, going 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now, it's a subtle difference, but actually thinking this of 5 tens as opposed to 50 is a lot less cognitively challenging because I'm not in my mind trying to hold on to and imagine 50 things. I've now compressed it down to just 5 tens. So the way I would want my students to count this collection is like this, focusing on structure and organization the whole time. So I'd want them to look at it and go, oh, I've got a lot of tens here. I'm going to count how many tens I've got. I've got 1 10, 2 tens, 3 tens, 4 tens, 5 tens, 2 more, 6, 7 tens, 8 tens, 9, 10, 10 tens. If I've got 10 tens, I've got 100. So then I'd want them to put that in a pile so it can clearly be seen as its own unit now, 100. Now let's work on our remaining tens. I can see I've got 3 more tens, so now I've got 100, 100 and 3 tens, 30, but I've still got some more ones. Let's see if I can make some more tens out of these. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's another 10. So now I've got 104 tens, 40, and now let's count the remaining ones. I can see I've got 4 here, and oh, looks like another 4. So I'm going to put those together as 4 and 4. So I know that that's 8. So altogether I've got 148. That's how I want my students counting. Now let's talk about how we're going to turn this into a full lesson. So before the students even came into class, I would have placed a pile or a collection for them to count, just like this one, on all their tables with a sticky note. Now, it's actually handy to even have a few more collections than you have students, because once they've counted and organized it, I want them to write down the number. Now, I think before I had 148. So after I've counted my collection, I'd write it on a sticky note, and then I would put that sticky note upside down and then rejumble up my organized collection ready for the next person. And then I could get up, walk around the room, find a collection that's not currently being counted, and go and count that one. And then once I've got my count, I can flip over the sticky note and I can check to see if I've got the same answer. That's how I found it really effective way to run it, because then every student is getting multiple opportunities to count multiple different collections. And it can also be easier to differentiate that way, because you might have some collections that are much larger, maybe even some really large ones on the floor made out of some MAB or some things, and then students naturally go to collections that are going to really challenge them and be fun for them to solve. So while this is a simple lesson, I've always found it to be really effective. So definitely give this one a try if you've got students that really need to work on getting better at counting 2 and 3 digit numbers. Yeah, enjoy, go math it up.